Today, the government undertakes a decisive initiative to protect Uganda's livestock sector and numerous households that rely on Uganda's livestock sector and the numerous households. It is approximately 70% of which who rely on livestock. Uganda is home to around 15.5 million cattle, 17.4 million goats, 4.4 million sheep, 7.1 million pigs, and approximately 44.5 million animals susceptible to foot and mouth disease, FMD. Recurrent FMD outbreaks disrupt animal movements, impede market access, and diminish productivity. Therefore, the government is transitioning from occasional small-scale free vaccination campaign to a systematic nationwide biannual vaccination program supported by a cost recovery mechanism. As you are aware, Uganda is one of the countries that trade in animal and animal products. And in order for our products to access lucrative markets, they must be free of disease, and the production system must be clean. This is why we are moving away from the previous method, where vaccine was free and compulsory, and the government was not providing adequate vaccine to cover the national herd. What is FMD is and why it matters to the economy. Foot and mouth disease is a highly contagious disease affecting cloven-hoofed two-toed animals, including cattle, sheep, goat, pigs, buffaloes, antelopes, and other wild ruminants, caused by the FMD virus. The pathogen is transmitted through direct contact with infected animals and direct contact via contaminated vehicles, clothing, equipment, and feed, and through aerosol exhaled by infected hosts, that is, if they get in contact with the other one. After an incubation of 7 to 14 days, susceptible animals exhibit clinical signs such as mouth and tongue ulcers, excessive salivation, lesions in the interdigital space, teeth, lesion, lameness, significant decrease in milk production and growth rates, abortion, mortality in young stock, notably heart lesion in calves. Adult animals may experience weight loss, poor coat condition, reduced fertility, and in exotic breeds, the disease can be even severe and in most cases fatal. Foot and mouth disease is endemic in Uganda and is among the most trade-sensitive animal disease globally, and it is transboundary in nature, and that's why we are actually combating it massively and effectively. It constitutes a significant obstacle to accessing profitable markets, both domestically and internationally. In recent years, Uganda has experienced numerous outbreaks annually. In 2023, more than 40 districts were affected. By May 2024, the government initiated a comprehensive vaccination campaign covering 136 districts. Were imposed in 31 districts. However, as of current rate, these restrictions have been subsequently lifted in all previously affected districts following a containment of the disease and massive vaccination. As I mentioned earlier, FMD targeting affected area, high-risk areas, and transit areas for livestock. This was proven contain the disease, but has not been effective. That's why government has now shifted the focus so that government takes the responsibility of procurement and availing vaccine cold chain, also providing manpower for vaccination, and the farmer only pays for the doses of vaccine depending on the number of the animals. We have shifted from the previous practice. Control methods. Uganda legal mandate for FMD control is vested in the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries under the Constitution and the Animal Disease Act Cap 38 and the Local Government Act Cap 243. The Department of Production manages operational responsibilities within the local government. Control measures include vaccination, which takes the form of mass vaccination nationwide, covering susceptible animals production populations, targeting vaccinating high-risk areas, ring vaccination when outbreak occur. Movement control, this takes form of quarantine restrictions and lawful strategic animal checkpoints along the stock routes to stop the spread during the outbreak. Biosecurity, under these control measures, susceptible suspected or confirmed the case of sick animals are isolated, equipment and vehicles are disinfected. As I mentioned, we are empowering the local governments. Also, we have 2 banks participating, notably Housing Finance Bank and Paro Bank, formerly known as Post Bank. These are banks we are selected on criteria based that the government has vested interest in these banks. And farmers will pay through the bank and access their vaccine from the district veterinary officer. The government we have already procured the cold facilities and built containers for cold chain that are run by both on solar and electricity to ensure that in the absence of electricity, there is continuation of power from the solar system. So, local government and cultural religious leaders messages to local languages and support crowd management, while media outlets and telecommunications provide a broadcast radio announcements about the vaccination program. This program caters to ranchers, smallholders, and pastoral and agro-pastoral communities. Districts will issue micro plans with adaptable points and dates aligned with the national vaccination schedule to ensure inclusion of mobile herds and remote communities. Farmers are solely responsible for the cost of the vaccine. The government subsidizes vaccinators, logistical support, and oversight. Early participation and the punctual payment are essential to ensure priority schedules during the initial phase of each biannual cycle. Every 6 months, we shall be vaccinating all susceptible animals in the country. And we shall put a restriction for farmers who don't vaccinate and keep health cards for their animals. They will not be accessing markets. They will not get permits. The objective of government is to achieve 100% coverage in all susceptible species in each cycle, validated by administrative data and post-vaccination surveys. Where coverage is inadequate or risk remains elevated, the Ministry will implement targeted mop-up and ring vaccination. This strategy aligns with international best practices and supports Uganda's progress along the regional and global pathway for FMD disease. By enhancing confidence in our livestock and related products for both domestic and export markets. In conclusion, therefore, the success of this program depends on each of us playing our part. I call upon district leaders, veterinary professionals, financial partners, and farmer groups to fully support mobilization and timely participation to our farmers. Register, pay, and present your animal on schedule. Together, we will build a herd immunity Uganda needs to safeguard its livelihood, open markets, and drive our more resilient and competitive livestock sector to spur our economic prosperity. I thank you for your attention that the government will procure the vaccine in mass on behalf of the farmers and make sure that the efficacy of the vaccine is right. Second, government will transport the vaccine through its cold chain facility that has been provided by government and to the district. Government has also equipped all extension workers with the necessary tools, and we shall pay the cost of the vaccination exercise. What the farmer needs to do is only pay the cost of the vaccine. So government is contributing almost 50% of the vaccine. We have started with these two banks because the government has interest in it, and the cost of transaction is minimized. We don't want to start with the high priced rates on the farmers, but if we find out that the other banks are complying, then we shall widen the scope. On the contrary, in Uganda, beef is very cheap. You only need to go to Congo and see the difference. In the Congo, steak is at $17. Here, I think a kilo is 20 now. Well, 20,000 is about in Uganda it's around $5, and in the neighborhood, if you go to Burundi, if you go to Congo, it is still very high. The price is that actually we are improving our production systems through parish development model, through soft loans to the farming community that are channeled through many participating banks. The farmers are able to do feed loading. We are also feeding our animals. We have also improved our genetic pool. We have agencies like Gov't and Narrow. They are working very hard to make sure that we are very high yielding and resilient stock on the market. So we are doing everything that it takes to make sure that we increase the amount of beef in the market. One, through genetic improvement. Two, animal nutrition. And three, disease control. Currently, it is about 8,000 per dose, but we are looking at partnership with some agencies, some companies to put a vaccine plant here. We envisage a drop in the price in the near future. Vaccine is preferred to treatment because it provides a cheap way of dealing with the problem. And here we have four main strains, three main strains which are common here. So the vaccine we have is trivalent to make sure it covers all the strains we have in the country.
It's a privilege to stand before you today as we launch a transformative partnership between the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries and Housing Finance Bank as one of the banks, the partner banks. This collaboration speaks to the heart of national development, resilience and innovation. Housing Finance Bank is proud to partner with the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries to support the national foot and mouth disease vaccination programs. In an intervention to safeguard the livelihood of our farmers and the integrity of agricultural economy. For decades, foot and mouth disease has posed a persistent threatening or threat, crippling trade, eroding income, and destabilizing communities. But today, we choose to make progress. We choose resilience. We choose to stand with the farmers to feed our nation. Through this partnership, Housing Finance Bank is deploying a platform called the HFB VacciPay, a secure, accessible digital payment platform that empowers Ugandan farmers to conveniently pay for vaccinations. Whether in a remote village or villages or bustling towns, farmers will now be able to contribute to the national effort with dignity and ease. Farmers can onboard at the Maif district offices or Housing Finance branch and can make payments in several ways. Can make payment using a USSD code *225*10#. This takes care of those who may not be having smartphones, and so the feature phones can be used to make the payment and even to onboard. But also through web services for those who may have a computer or phone can also access this platform. But also this can be done over the counter at any of the Housing Finance Bank branches. This initiative reflects our belief in homegrown solutions. It's aligned with the broader mission to catalyze inclusive development, supporting housing, SME, agriculture, and sustainability. It's our commitment to financial inclusion, ensuring that every Ugandan farmer has access to affordable and transformative financial services. With this solution, we are not only facilitating payment, but enabling progress and restoring hope. We are building a future where agriculture thrives, trade flourishes, and communities prosper. As we walk this journey with government and our partners, we reaffirm our role not just as a bank, but as a development partner. A partner that listens, innovates, and acts. A partner that believes Uganda's best days are ahead and ready to help make that happen. As a bank, we are excited to be part of this journey and look forward to this partnership going forward.
On behalf of Pearl Bank, I am deeply honored to be part of this important occasion, the launch of the FMD vaccine. This is a major step forward in safeguarding Uganda's livestock and the livelihood of our farmers. As one of the participating banks, Pearl Bank is proud to partner with Maif to support the onboarding of farmers for this initiative. Our role is to provide secure, accessible payment systems through our Wendy platform. Farmers can access our services by dialing 229# on any mobile phone, including feature phones for that, or through our agency banking and our branch network. For your information, Pearl Bank is in 58 locations across Uganda. When the hard-to-reach areas, we have over 8,000 Wendy agents. So the challenge of whether we'll reach and give services to the various places, I'll tell you, yes, we are well positioned. Together with Maif, we're committed to promoting financial inclusion and supporting farmers to build a more resilient and productive enterprise. Countries that do not have foot and mouth disease. Countries that have eradicated foot and mouth disease will not trade with countries that have foot and mouth disease. And government is supporting us as the Ministry of Agriculture, and especially the farmers, to ensure that vaccination is done en masse. As the minister has already said, that we have been vaccinating earlier in small spots just to quell the outbreaks, but now government has gone massive, and we want to appreciate, me as a veterinarian from the veterinary profession, I want to appreciate government for looking our side, that we have mass vaccination for the livestock. And to sustain this, government has given us a one-off funding, and we are working together with Pearl Bank and Housing Finance Bank to achieve this, so that we have a small fraction paid by the farmer just to sustain this. Is being covered by government. So we just need a sustenance of this funding, so that we never go back to where we have to just get a few animals covered because we are sharing the big budget. So government thankfully has given us a one-off for everything 100% to cover 44 million heads of cattle.
I also want to emphasize that if you have 100 cows, we are not going to accept you to vaccinate half of them, because it will create a problem. Those ones which will not be vaccinated will remain as possible source of outbreak in future. So while we accept partial payment for farmers, because it is an investment, it will be there in the bank, it reflects on the farmer's account. And at the end of it, we want to make sure that every animal is vaccinated. Finally, I want, on behalf of Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, first of all to appreciate the President for his input, because as you heard from the veterinarians, this is the first ever move to make sure that the country is rid of the nuisance of FMD. And we want to thank the participating bank for the initiative, because what they are doing actually is corporate responsibility to some extent, and they are returning back to the farmers who are their customers. So with these few remarks, I launch the campaign to eradicate FMD on behalf of government, and hopefully we shall meet there for the prosperity of our farming communities and the growth of our economy. Thank you very much for your attention.